listening to y'all's poetry. I like Sniffy, he was pretty cool too. So I've actually read this one before, but like I haven't really performed and memorized too much, and so hopefully y'all enjoy it. It's called Don't Walk and Think at the Same Time. I like to think that leaves turn different colors when you aren't looking. I like to think that all that green becomes red, blue, purple, and gold in the blink of a New York minute. 1, 2, 3, 14, they all transform to falling shards of glass, reflecting the eyes of the birds flying past in a hailstorm of feathers, like multitudinous bags of glitter being carried on the wind. I like to think that as they drift downwards towards an open grave of green fire, these refractions of light, these mirrors of nature, are individuals who sprung from families of nations, of countries, of gods, who are trees, and each one tumbling with trembling, crumbling veins is becoming an allegory for those who would break away from good homes and bad houses, and good wives and bad husbands, and good children and bad neighbors, only to fall until they can fall no more and hit bottom. But they are leaves. I like to think that the branches that the leaves have left jut out like chopsticks, trying to hold on to measly mites of rice, but the clumps are too oiled up or dried down and hold together, and so they litter the plate as leaves do in fall, covering verdant saucers of blue grass and dusty pools of pond water as rice does in autumn. When you take that special someone out to dinner at a Mexican restaurant, but that plate is a tortilla and it is made by Frank, as the world was frankly made by God, or as the scientists say, by a dog. I like to think that the Big Bang was a tiny seed, an acorn that filled the universe with stars and darkness and more acorns, so that they could grow into trees that had branches and leaves, and that if you took one, rolled it up real tight, and stuck a dewdrop at one end, you could actually see over top the oaks and pine cones and the comets that seemed to be crashing into one end of the leafoscope and sail right through your eye like a fly does when it hits you right in the corner of your window and you wipe it away with your windshield wipers, and it falls onto the ground with all the other comets that color the ground with red and purple patches of people's hopes and hotel dinners. But they are stars. I like to think, but what I really think is that I've only thunk thoughts that I've thought before I was thinking about the thought of thinking thoughts. Then I say thanks. I like to think. I like to think that I think too much, but that is just wishful thinking. I like to wish that I could stop thinking. But then a fly enters the corner of my eye and bullies my optic nerves, and seeing purple comets fall through a telescope down to earth where a dog is wagging a white bone in his mouth, and I want to grab it out, but he jerks his head away at the last Philadelphia second, and that fucking dog. I like to think that dog is God, spelled out in plain sight for all of us to kick around, but he just sits there, quietly, panting, waiting for me to catch him. But they're just leaves.